You're listening to another Geek Pride podcast.
Hi, I'm Dewsbury. You may remember me from such films as Shaving Ryan Privates and Schindler's Fist. This is the Geek Pridecast. Get your pull.
And you're here with Matt Geary as well. We're in my newly refurbished garage, and now my man cave. What do you think?
Dude, this place is ace. This place is awesome. It's like Lord of the Rings toys and Star Wars toys, and are all those models like are they all Warhammer?
Yeah, that's all Warhammer stuff. I'm unfortunately a massive Warhammer geek.
What do you think about the story that's been doing the rounds that PETA, the people eating tasty animals, aren't very happy that the fictional Vikings from the future are wearing fur?
Man, do you know what? I'm currently writing a piece on this, and I say writing, I'm ranting on a piece of paper about this whole thing, and it's just ludicrous. It's absolutely insane. I can't actually understand why. No, actually, no, I lie. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because it's a publicity stunt. There's the run out of other people to pick on, and they just want to sort of pick on somebody random. For me, it's just like, where's the line? That's my question. I put it down on the article. It's like, where is the line when it comes to things like this? If you stop somebody, a fictional character, fictional...
We're both doing the little bunny rabbit ears air quotes there. Fictional character. As in, not fucking real.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like fictional characters. You stop them from wearing fur, then you're stopping violence, you're stopping all kinds of things. You're basically stopping creative sort of speech, your creative writing. You're basically imposing a fascist regime on other people, and it's fucking insane. Absolutely insane.
Topical though.
Yeah, it's very topical, but it's just like, it's so out of the blue. And my mates, we have a group, and it's literally where we all post our pictures of, oh, look at the things we made and we painted, and how good are they and stuff. And it's like, somebody posted this like thing from PETA, and I was just like, that's a fucking awesome. That's really hilarious. Thinking, it was a joke, and then realized that's a fucking real letter.
That's actually a thing.
That actually happened, and it took me a while to fucking like. I was going, whoa, no, this has got to be fake. Well, I just couldn't fucking fathom it. It wouldn't sink in that they actually had spent time on letterheaded paper to do this. And we try not to sort of be too overly political in Geek Pride, but in certain instances it's just like, fuck me. I have no problem with people who want to support sort of cruelty animals and stuff. I'm an animal lover myself, but PETA are just fucking batshit crazy. I cannot understand them in any way, shape or form. It just doesn't I just don't understand. And it's just like, it's the 41st millennium. It's called the Grim Dark. There is only war. How the fuck are they going to have... They don't give a fuck if they skin an animal or an alien or sever somebody's head and stuff. Why are they fucking going to listen to fucking PETA and go, oh yeah, we'll use artificial fur because Space Marines are really conscious about sort of that sort of thing. And so it's like, fuck's sake, man. I'll put it more eloquently when I write it down, but at this moment in time...
You're right, you are ranting about that. I think we struck a nerve, boys and girls.
There's a lot. There's a few things. When it comes to me, I like to think I'm a very balanced view on most things. I like to think that I'm always looking at the other side of the coin. There's always another side of the coin.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that just go, what the fuck? There is no other side to this coin. This is just insane. And it's just like, I had some friends trying to explain it. It's just like, well, it encourages people to want to wear fur. I was like, fuck off. I play Space Wolves. They all have fur and stuff. And it's just like, I'm not going out afterwards going, do you know what I want to buy next? Is a fucking fox coat or a mink coat or something like that after playing these games. That doesn't work like that. Kids aren't going to automatically play this game and go, fucking A, man, I want a dead animal on me, just want to drape it around me and shit.
Saying that though, you are talking to the man who owns a Stormtrooper helmet, a Harry Potter wand, and an Indiana Jones fedora, so maybe there are some people who are as impressionable as me around.
that's different. Obviously, they're not. That's you're not going out. You're not actually going out and killing a stormtrooper and taking his helmets.
Oh, I thought that Star Wars convention it went south really quickly. Give me your fucking helmet!
Oh no, it's happening again. All right, so we'll move on quickly from this. This feels very weird for me, by the way, because obviously I've listened to you for many years and your different incarnations. I never expected to be across from you in this way.
Oh, it's cool, man. Thank you for inviting me, man.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So obviously you're here because you have a new radio station. Radio adventure. New adventure, of course. Yeah.
It's just an adventure off into the unknown.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start from the beginning. What happened? Why did you go from? Obviously, you went from rock radio to Team Rock to this. So what happened? Give us the lowdown.
Well, I met my Canadian compadre. Moose, aka Hugh Evans. I met him when I first started at Rock Radio, and we became firm friends. He ended up living with me for a bit, and we just ended up hanging out and just working together all the bloody time. And then when Rock Radio / Real XS kind of naturally, for us anyway, kind of came to an end, there was this opportunity to move down south to London to set up what we thought was going to be this brilliant rock station where everybody could belong, and it would just be this brilliant thing that it didn't turn into at all.
And
just industry politics.
So it wasn't, because in my mind I thought it was, obviously I hadn't got a clue about what was going on. I was just your average Joe who listened to you on the radio. You were leaving. I was like, what's going on? We're doing our own thing, Team Rock Radio. I was like, oh, so have they basically just set this up themselves? So was it you and Moose who set this up? Or was it somebody who's turned around to you and going, hey, tell you what, come down to London, we'll set up a thing, do it your way?
Oh, well, it was one of the guys who had been involved with Rock Radio in Manchester, but initially in Glasgow as well, 96.3 in Glasgow. And he decided to branch out on his own. And with the radio lot, he kind of had a word with Moose, had a word with me, had a word with a couple of other people, and we went off to set up this thing. Along the way, he borrowed many millions and ended up buying Classic Rock magazine and Metal Hammer magazine and Prog magazine and Blues magazine and yada yada yada, which very much took the focus away from radio because they were the big names, whereas we were effectively just starting a new station from scratch.
Okay.
And so the whole thing was very much about the magazines because they were making money, and to be fair, we weren't on the radio side of things. And just the way that certain things had to happen, and just the politics of the whole thing, it just went on and on and on and on until last June. Everybody on the radio side of things was all the freelancers were let go. All the staff, which was by that point was Moose, it was young James Espley, aka J-Rock, and me, and our buddy Johnny up in Scotland. We were all put on what's the phrase? Not gardening leave. Consultation.
Consultation, right?
Consultation period. Which is a really nice way of saying that the company you work for does not have a fucking clue what they're doing, and they want you out of the way while they try and figure something out. That's it.
Right.
So they didn't know what they were going to do.
So because it wasn't. So did you know for a while then this was going to happen before it actually happened? So did you have to keep stum? Did they used to say you're not allowed to say anything?
No. Well, that's the really fun thing. I mean, I don't think I'm not revealing anything secret here. I mean, you can see the timings for yourself. We all went to Download Festival. We worked our asses off and represented the Team Rock colours at Download Festival. It was great. Got to meet loads of awesome people. Then the Monday night, straight after Download Festival, we all busted our guts at the Metal Hammer Golden God Awards, which was amazing. Then straight after we've done all this, the Thursday, it's like, guys, we've got a meeting now. By the way, fuck off. Which, that was a little bit sucky.
Yeah, I think, did some of you learn about it on Facebook? I think Rachel...
This leads on to... This was back in June that I'm talking about here.
Okay, of course, right.
Which is when Moose was made redundant.
Right, okay.
And leaving James, me, and our buddy Johnny up in Scotland. Just the three of us.
Sorry about that. Technical issue.
Edit that bit out. It's fine. So that just left the three of us. Then cut to December 19th. This is where Rach, formerly of Team Rock Radio, formerly of Rock Radio Real Access in Manchester, December 19th, Monday. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was like something out of a movie. 3 Agent Smith looking motherfuckers walk in the office. Right, everybody, if you could stop what you're doing, and if you could log out your systems, yada, yada, yada. Get your shit and get out, basically.
Just unceremoniously?
Unceremoniously, and within... Again, I'm not revealing anything that people haven't mentioned. Within half an hour, our access to our emails was revoked. We couldn't get into our work emails anymore. It was like, oh, right, so somebody knew this was coming.
Fucking hell.
And Miss Rach, being off on maternity, nobody told her. She found out about it from people posting stuff on Facebook. Because the administrators didn't get in touch with her to say, by the way, you ain't got a job anymore.
Fucking hell, man. Like, I've been made redundant twice. But I've been given notice, I've obviously been told, I've been paid off and stuff, You guys literally found out last minute and then told you've got nothing whatsoever. That was it. Somebody had to set up a GoFundMe. It was
a Just Giving page set up by Ben Ward from Orange Goblin and his missus, which ended up raising, I think it was around £88,000. It was just phenomenal. A massive shout out to Ben for doing this. It was just amazing. Phenomenal. And proper touching as well, like, thanks to Ben for setting it up and for everybody who got involved with that. It was, I went to the Black Art in London to like an Orange Goblin gig for this event, and there were loads of my old workmates there, and there were loads of people there, and the vibe was just amazing, and nobody could believe it was actually happening.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow.
It was very heartwarming. I basically saw the whole thing unfold. I was sort of enthralled by the whole thing. Obviously, your updates when you were doing your live streams and things, and seeing that, it just made you feel like people cared and they actually really wanted to help you out, and I thought that was really good. I like seeing communities sort of pull themselves together like that.
Which leads us on nicely to the next step, the community.
Okay, yes, so this is it. All the bad shit behind us, the future explained.
Hey, see, I do this for a fucking living, you know. I like that for a fucking segue.
Go on then.
So, we're talking there about the community.
Yep.
And like I said, at Download you meet so many amazing people, and everybody outside of our community, the rock, I'm talking about the rock music community here, really. Everybody outside sees us as, oh, they're Satan worshippers and they put babies on spikes and they sacrifice goats and da-da-da-da-da. Whereas, you and I both know that isn't the case. Some of us have joke jobs. Hi! Yeah. But then there's wherever, it's like Fight Club, alright? Only with rockers. We are everywhere. You might not know we're there, yeah, but we are in everywhere. I once had this, sorry, this is just coming to mind. We'd been at a work evening out. This is back in the Rock Radio Manchester days.
Yeah.
I was with the guys who worked on Real Radio, as was then, and some of the younger guys from Smooth Radio, and we were at a bar in Manchester, queuing up outside. think it was called Vodka Revolution on Deansgate Lock. So
Right.
the kind of place I would never normally go. I would not be seen dead in these places, and I wouldn't even know where they were.
Yeah.
But we're queuing up to get in, and the security guard looks down. Goes, "Hey, Dewsbury, come on down, mate. Come on." And he got me and all my workmates in, and just slide us a couple of drinks, and went, "There you go, mate. Like, love the show." Like, holy crap! Did that just happen? Did that just happen? That was amazing.
On a side note, do you think that one of the issues with, say, because I've been listening to Moose's podcasts, he's done two. Has he done two podcasts?
Two podcasts so far. Episode 3 coming this Friday, I think. Yeah, coming this Friday.
So I've been listening to podcasts and stuff, and obviously money, revenue is a massive thing. Obviously, if you want to keep going, if you want to pay your staff, yourselves, make bigger and better things, you need the money. But obviously advertising is a big thing in this. Do you think that people's misconceptions on what the rock community is, what, metalheads are, is the reason that you've struggled in the past?
I think it's the reason why a standalone rock radio station can't succeed unless it really stretches itself and does something differently.
Why is it? Because we were in San Diego and Vegas over in summer, and they have loads of rock stations, metal stations and stuff. Like they're playing some heavy stuff just on the radio and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the difference from there and here? What do you think?
I think that in the States they have more of a culture of rock radio. Admittedly, even rock radio in the States is a little bit on its arse.
Yeah.
But it's much more ingrained in the culture that, listen to rock and roll on the radio.
Yeah.
We've all... I mean, don't tell me you haven't got the whole mental image of, like, growing up in the 60s, 70s.
Driving down Route 66.
Yeah, you flip on the radio and there's Creedence on there. So there's a culture of it in the States, whereas we don't so much, despite being the home of heavy metal and the home of rock music. We don't really have that so much in the UK. And the way that... I'm sure that this has been covered before, but just in a nutshell, with the major radio companies, they kind of sell their advertising through agencies. And they have a list of stations that are on their books. So if they have, say, Mars Bar or Cadbury's comes to them, and they say, okay, so we want to hit mainly... the X, Y, and Z types of people. So then the agency will look, going, what stations have we got that cover these? So they'll go, oh yeah, we've got Classic FM, that's a big national station. We've got the Heart Network. We've got the Kiss Network. Dun, 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 dun. Tick, tick, tick. Ticked all those boxes. Done. So that advertising is then going on to... Let me rephrase that. That advertising is then going on to stations listened to by the people that the advertisers want to hit.
Right.
So with anything like that, a standalone rock station is way down the queue. It's right down the bottom of the pecking order. And so it's almost impossible to get advertising through agencies. And of course, with these agencies, the people who are working there are young 20-somethings, they're hip and cool, they live in cities. As soon as you say rock to them, they immediately think of the aforementioned Satan worshipping, baby on spike putting stereotype, which isn't true, but that's what they think of.
Yeah.
Which is, shit.
But I think, this is the one thing I've found, so obviously growing up as a rocker / metalhead, there is that stereotype, and there's this belief, and I have no idea where it's come from, just because maybe we look differently, maybe because we dress differently, or the music they don't understand, but people from the rock community and metal community, I don't think, obviously you get in, there's a few fights and things like that, but I've had more trouble in normal, inverted commas, clubs and things like that, more trouble in regular places than I've ever had in a heavy metal bar or a rock bar or within a rock community and stuff. It just doesn't seem... Everybody seems to be very cool. There's very much a brotherhood, sisterhood sort of thing going on. A lot of people helping each other out. Whereas, when you go to clubs, it's just a bunch of dudes in white shirts who want to fight. all the time, and you don't get that.
Just walk through the Printworks in Manchester on a Saturday night, or Call Lane in Leeds, or walk through the centre of York on a Saturday night, or walk through the, for want of a better phrase, the chavtastic capital of any major city on a Saturday night. You will see rocks breaking out everywhere. Walk past the Soul Rock pub, you'll see people nipping off round the side to have a cheeky joint.
Yeah.
And then probably throwing the guts up everywhere, because as we know, lots of marijuana and lots of alcohol makes you feel a bit queasy.
Obviously something you don't know firsthand.
Oh, no. I heard rumours one time from a man that I once met who had a dog in a pub.
Okay, so Primordial Radio. Hit us.
So Primordial, if you know the primordial soup theory?
Yes.
That all life evolved from this primordial soup way back billions of years ago when, it was all fields around here or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, orange groves as far as the eye could see.
But all life evolved from the primordial soup. There was one microbe, and then there were two, and then they came together, and then all of a sudden, over billions of years, it evolved. Well, that's kind of the idea, in that...
By the way, for all the creationists out there, fuck you. Sorry, carry on.
Seconded. Don't even get me started on that shit, man.
That's the other ones I draw the line at. So, like I said, we've had lots of podcasts, and we try our best to be very center line on things. But there's certain things we don't center line. Donald Trump, creationists, and fucking Pete Petta having to go at Warhammer 40,000 for fur.
Bill Hicks had it right, man. You don't want to think that God has put dinosaur fossils there to fuck with us.
Yeah.
No. I will test their belief in me. I will hide these dinosaur bones.
Yeah, I love that. The whole Bill Hicks thing is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely hilarious.
Wait. I know, primordial soup.
Yes.
Right. So that's where the name comes from, right? Because we're starting from fuck all. I'm unemployed at the moment. I haven't got a job because I've made redundant just before Christmas. Moose has got a couple of other things he's working on. Pete Bailey, another former Team Rock alumni, he's got a bunch of freelance stuff that he does as well. Engineer Mark came from Team Rock until very recently. He's also been unemployed. We're starting from fuck all apart from us four and our experiences thus far. So we want to see where we can take it. Whether that be we have to... I did think about every way I could say this, but then, right, we've worked, like Moose and I and Pete Bailey, we've worked for rock radio stations, run by companies, run by people that don't fucking get it, and run by people who continually underestimate the rock audience. And so, I hate to paraphrase Trumpolini, but we're trying to take the power away from the people wearing suits who don't have a fucking clue about us or our audience, and we're trying to give the power to the people. That's the idea, which is the way we want Primordial to go. So we were having a chat yesterday, an online meeting. Isn't modern technology wonderful?
Very sophisticated.
I now know what Google Hangouts is. It's fucking nice. I managed to use 2 gig of data on my phone in an hour-long conference call. I'm like, okay, I might need a bolt-on for that. Oh, do! Help! But what we're going to set up the company, we're going to sell shares in the company, and we're going to sell them to our audience. We want our audience, we want anybody who wants to be involved with us, we want them to own this fucking thing.
Yeah, from what I gleaned from the last podcast, I found very interesting, because Moose sort of basically laid out how, he went through different costings and things like that, and he was basically saying, you can do it where it is literally just a normal radio station. You can have an app, an all singing, all dancing app. But obviously, it costs like $300,000 for one, and it's going to cost you double for the other, and it's... Where are you going to start? What are you going to do? And then he's obviously mentioned that, the shares thing. So, for example, each person would spend like £100 and they would own a part of the company. and then you would have like a subscription thing maybe.
Yeah. Which is, so we were desperately trying to keep it around the price of a beer. You know, because if you start, and like even stuff like Spotify Premium, I don't pay for that. I won't, because that's like a tenner, I think, like $9.99, something like that. That's quite a lot of money, you know, and so we wanted to keep it around the price of a beer. So we're probably thinking about like a $5 or something like that. Admittedly, that is the price of a beer down south. I went to my local the other night, got 2 pints of Foster's for £5.40.
It's ridiculous, man. It really is. I got a double vodka down there once, and it was a tenner. I was like, what the fuck? A tenner?
Oh, dude, yeah. And again, this is another thing. Southern drinks prices. Don't get me started! So keep it around the price of a beer. So that basically, in essence, anybody who subscribes is hiring us. They're hiring us to play music for them, to keep them company, to do shows for them. Because one thing that we've noticed time and time again with the kind of the way that rock radio has previously been done, is that because of the advertising thing we were talking earlier, it's very difficult to make any money out of it. Which is why stuff keeps on going tits up. It's just business. If you're not making any money from something, let's not do that thing anymore. So we're trying to do something fucking different. We want to do something that is completely different and give our audience a vested interest in making it work. You know, so that what a lot of places would spend their marketing budget on, we have our fans and our audience. They're plugging us to their mates. They're telling their mates. They're putting stickers up, they're doing whatever. Again, this goes back to the Fight Club thing. We're everywhere. And so we've got to do something different, because we've done it the traditional way and it didn't work several times. So we're trying something different, and we don't want to underestimate this amazing rock audience. I mean, some of the people we've had coming forward offering their services to help us. We've had accountants, we've had web designers, we've had somebody who was very good with something called SQL. I don't know what that is, but I think it's something to do with computers. We've had so many people coming forward to say, right, I want to help, how can I do this? I can have you an app next week, I can do this. And like, whoa, we don't know exactly where we can take this or how to utilize all this yet, but the talent pool within this amazing rock crowd is there, and so we're going to try and use it, you know.
And you're going to sell actual primordial soup.
Yes, that's another right. Merch is going to be a real big part of this, because like a couple of, I mean, everybody loves a good t-shirt, especially if it's got a killer design on it. And Matt Young, who runs Death Cult Clothing, he runs My Oh My Design. I've got a bunch of Death Cult stuff. Saw his designs, 2-3 years ago? Got in touch, and I've bought a bunch of his stuff. When we needed a logo, I was thinking, Matt'd be good, because he does some great designs. And so we are going to have killer merch.
And he's from Northern Ireland, and he's called Matt.
Yes, funny that, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
All the best people are called Matt and from Northern Ireland.
He's from Northern Ireland by way of Norwich, which is a real weird mishmash of accents going on in there.
Yeah.
But so we're going to have killer merch. That's the idea. But some places that I've worked before, they haven't had killer merch. But then even when people have wanted to spend their money on merch and stuff, they haven't made it easy. Rule 1 of business: make it easy for people to give you their fucking money. Make it easy. You want to buy a t-shirt? Yes, we have t-shirts. Here we go. Buy a t-shirt. There you go. Cool. You want a hoodie? Cool. We've got hoodies. We've got beanies. We've got badges. We've got stickers. And so that will be a big part of it. But one of the evil genius Moose's crazier ideas is branch out into the mass marketplace, not just kind of restrict it to rock. Try and branch out into the mass marketplace, to try and fund what we do here. So
it's ingenious.
If we know anybody who's an expert soup inventor type person, then we're going to do that. We'll make primordial soup. We're already thinking about primordial brew. Probably with a dude called Sean, runs Pig and Porter Brewery, and some of his beers are wonderful. He does this amazing one called Whispering Bob.
Right.
You know, named after Bob Harris.
Yeah.
Kids, he's a radio presenter from back in the day. Well, TV presenter as well. All great whistle test. Ask your dad. Granddad, maybe. I don't know. He does some amazing ales. So we're already looking at getting a primordial brew.
Wow. Genius. Absolutely genius.
Moose is an evil genius, to
He
be
is.
fair. He really is.
He has quite a soothing tone as well. I quite like listening to him.
can't-
Yourself, of course, as well, but, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks for that one, man.
Sorry. Oh, man. Well, so what is, for yourself, what is the end game? What would you ideally want for this in the next year, for example?
In the next year,
Yeah.
I'd like to make enough money to be able to pay my rent.
Well, yeah, of course.
I'd like to be able to support myself while doing something that I love. I did a Facebook Live video on the Primordial Facebook the other day where I was doing it kind of flippantly, but saying that I want to be able to do something that I love, that hopefully other people will really dig, to avoid having to get a proper job. Which, I did say it flippantly, but there is an element of truth in that, because I say proper job, like working in radio is a proper job anyway. It really isn't a proper job, you know? You got to work fucking hard for it, but it's not picking orders, it's not working in a call centre, it's not swinging a shovel for a living. Not that you swing shovels, but you get the idea. And I was listening to another podcast the other week.
Oh my god, yeah.
You ever listen to the Nerdist podcast?
Yes, mate. Yes, I do.
Love that.
Yeah.
I was catching up on some really old episodes, and they had Will Wheaton on. Wesley Crusher! Shut up, Wesley!
He hates that, by the way.
Yeah, he
really
does.
fucking
Yeah.
hates that.
So that ain't funny anymore. But, you know. So Will Wheaton was on there. And Will Wheaton, a man very much after your own heart, you know, facial hair, massive nerd. And they had this long conversation about how, now thanks to the internet, it is, quote-unquote, easier, that it's more possible than ever before to do something that you love and, horror of horrors, get paid for it.
Well, there's a chap, one of the biggest sort of FPS sort of gaming stars, a guy called Syndicate. He's around here around Denton area, I believe, and he makes loads. His videos, I've been watching them for years and stuff, and he just plays games. And I watched him build his own house, which he basically made from the money he made from his YouTube channel and things like that. And it's mad how sort of these people, you know, they've kind of gone, this is what I want to do for a living. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make money from it. And you got to think, PewDiePie, he made £2 million last year in YouTube fees, not YouTube, sorry, YouTube advertising and stuff. And it's just like,
you've got teenagers making 60, 70k from selling advertising on their YouTube videos. And it's insane. And quite frankly, I want a piece of that action. I want a piece of that action.
Would you maybe think about doing something? Obviously, if costs are an issue and getting something started the old-fashioned way from funding, would you maybe think about maybe doing it on YouTube or something like that and trying to get some sort of cashola that way?
Well, I'm glad you asked that one, Matt, because we're going to do stuff on YouTube. By the time this goes out, we may already be doing stuff on YouTube. This is slightly nerve-wracking for me, because I've never done anything. I've never done anything on YouTube other than watch videos.
But it's no different than what you do already, but you'll just be on video.
There's a reason why I work in radio, man. I have a face for radio. So we are gonna do stuff like we're going to do like playlists and see if we can do, I don't know. I used to think that when I was a kid, I used to think that MTV was kind of cool with the VJs.
All right.
Maybe try and do something like that. I know that MTV now is just wall-to-wall Kardashians and what the hell else is on MTV now?
I don't know, man.
It's certainly not music.
Yeah, well, it's like the History Channel doesn't really do history anymore, and it annoys me being a history nerd. It's like,
but if you want to watch people rooting through barns in Rednecksville,
yes,
Alabama,
it's
then
like
great. I was saying that though, I do love American Pickers.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Pawn Stars. I like American Pickers. Just every now and again, I wouldn't mind a fucking documentary. You know.
Hey, I'm not saying it's aliens. It's aliens. It's definitely aliens.
That guy's fucking batshit crazy, man.
He looks like he's been fucking an electrical socket. You see that dude's hair? Holy fuck!
I just can't even sort of bring myself to watch him. I watched a few things with him, and I was just like, my God, people fucking believe you as well. It's just like,
it's a crazy old world, man.
It really is a crazy old world. So YouTube videos, and it's going to be basically just like playlists, and you sort of introducing them, maybe
YouTube playlists, VJing, and whatever else we can think of, because we want to have fun. You know, one thing that the powers that be in the various radio stations that we've worked for, the being powers that be, they're normally quite keen on doing things a traditional, normal way. And especially because a lot of people are very concerned with how they're perceived by the industry, and occasionally lose sight of the fact that they're not there for the industry, they're actually there for the audience.
Yep.
And so everything that we do from Primordial, the number one concern is the audience. Because I know that Moose has talked about this at length in I think it was in episode 1 of the Primordial podcast, about how sick of fucking kowtowing to bands and to industry people. Oh no, we can't say this is shit because if they say that, then we won't get an interview with their other band. And like, fuck that. Just fuck that. That's losing sight of the whole reason that you're there, the whole raison d'etre, the whole reason why you can do this cool job is because the audience, be they print, be they radio listening people, be they video watching people, be they website visiting people, they're there because they want to see the cool stuff that you're doing. Be it actual serious musical content with and now my guest today is a man who plays guitar in a band. Be it that kind of thing, or be it, as we normally do with the radio side of thing that tends to get everybody else's back up, just dicking around. That's what the audience is there for.
So how are we, as the consumers, who are going to pay for your new venture, how are we to be assured that you're not going to go down when you do make a lot of money, that you're not going to cow yourself to the man, as it were? How can we believe you?
You've met me, right? Well, with any of this, wow, I wasn't expecting that one. With any of these things, you've got to take a little bit on faith.
Yeah.
And you can go on past record, in fact. You can go on past form. That it's not always a great indicator of where somebody's going to go in the future, but you can normally take it as a bit of a general guide. And we've never done that yet. I caused in the first episode of the Primordial podcast, I didn't realise this at the time. Moose, being the consummate manager, didn't tell me that I'd caused a major shitstorm for him by going on air and rubbishing the 17, 18-minute shit show that is Empire of the Clouds on the last Iron Maiden album. God, that song just fucking drags. But I went on air and said that, and certain other people within the company that we work for, and, oh no, you can't say that Iron Maiden's rubbish because we want them to sell their beer at our events, or we want to get them to do all this stuff. I'm like, if you're restricting what you can say, fuck, if something's, as Moose said in the podcast, if something's a piece of shit, you should be able to say, this is a piece of shit. We don't want to rubbish bands, we don't want to rubbish anybody. It's like, come on, you can do better than this. You can do better. We know you've done better. But at the same time, if a band releases, I don't know, like the sound of a drummer farting on a snare drum, you should say, by the way, guys, if you want people to actually put the hands in the pockets and pay for this, then this shit will not stand. It's just not fucking good enough. Down with this. Down with this.
On a completely random note, I found out a bit more about the radio industry as a whole through the podcast that Moose has been doing. And one thing I didn't understand, and I know now, is I always wanted to know why the same songs are played in the radio constantly, all the time. And it's just like, why don't they just pick new songs? You know, even when you guys always seem to sort of be the same ones. And I didn't realize that you have to pay a fee for each. You have to pay a fee for each song.
I'm not 100% on how that works.
Right. Okay.
I'm not 100%. But, well, the main reason why radio stations have restricted playlists is this is in traditional radio.
Yeah.
Thinking back to the way it's always been done this way, so there's no reason to change it, despite the fact we're falling on our arse. It's like your typical radio listener. They've either got it on in the background, so they're not paying attention, or they listen for, say, 20, 30-minute chunks. So with the traditional, they call it a radar curve.
Okay.
Radar is the listening figures.
Oh, okay.
Radio audience joint something, I can't remember. Can't remember what it stands for, but radar is what every traditional radio station lives and dies by. Because from radar, you know how many listeners you know how many listeners radar says you've got, whether it's true or not. It's also the most antiquated, ridiculous system in the world. People actually have to fill in a paper diary, write down what they've been listening to. I can't even write down what I want to buy when I go to the supermarket. So forget about that shit. But with radar, that a commercial station especially, that's what they sell to advertisers. When they can say, look, we have X many 100,000 listeners, and so radar is very important. But it always shows a spike around about 8 o'clock in the morning. Then it goes down. Then hopefully won't go down too much. Then there's another little spike about lunchtime. Then there's another spike about 3, 4 o'clock. Then it just peters off through the remainder of the evening. And that's because people, the vast majority of people, they're not sat there listening to the radio. You know, radio is just background noise. What we found with a lot of the rock audience is that it's consumed slightly differently. You know, so we do have people who are sat there and we are a part of their day, a part of their lives. So having the same song come round 2-3 times in a day, unless it's a brand new song that you need to, that you want to play, then that'll just put people off and just get really boring. And so that's why we're looking at starting off this station with around about 10,000 songs.
Right.
Some radio stations have like 300-400. They're very tightly formatted, so they will only play this number of songs. I'm holding my hands there about 8 inches apart. So they'll only play this number of songs when, in fact, in the world of rock especially, it can be holding your arms wide open apart. There's that many songs that you can play, you know, and so we don't just want to repeat shit.
And are you going to try and span genres? Because obviously within the rock sort of main genre, there's lots of subgenres within it. Are you going to try and expand across them, or? Gotta try,
definitely.
Yeah. Obviously, there's certain things you're just not going to get away with playing on radio and stuff. But really,
I don't know. I've always. I'm more guilty of this than anybody. I'll just play stuff for shits and giggles if I can get away with it. I'm very fortunate that for the last couple of years, anyway, I was given the freedom to have fun that a lot of listeners enjoyed, even if it was something horrible. I'd make sure that we were all suffering together.
Right.
So look, okay, right, got to play this. I'm going to play this, whether I have to or not. It's horrible, but trust me, we'll get through it together. And so as long as you're not just doing it to annoy people, J-Rock, look in your direction. Playing Taylor Swift on a rock station. That will not do.
What?
Oh, no, he did. I
Really?
believe the kids say that Tay-Sway is bay. No
Wow.
idea what that means.
Wow.
No idea.
Wow. Amazing.
But people are a lot more open-minded than you give them credit for. Some people, admittedly, aren't. But a lot of people are more open-minded than you give them credit for. Like, just today. Just today, I was talking to a dude in the music store. I needed to buy some DJ gear. Because I'm going to be doing some DJing, some like live DJing soon, which as far as I'm concerned is pressing play on one CD when the last CD finishes. None of this beat matching, scrippity, wiki. None of this stuff, no.
You got to make sure you really mumble into that microphone.
And even now, the guy who was selling me the gear, he was saying, so I forgive me, but I assume it's rock. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do some rock DJing stuff. And he was telling me that he DJs as well. A tiki bar in the centre of Manchester. And
It wasn't a guy called Greg by any chance, was it?
Oh, you know Greg?
I know Greg.
Yeah, you know Greg.
I know Greg.
He DJs at
Hula Bar,
Hula in the centre of Manchester. And I said, oh yeah, I love that place. And he just looked at me, because I'm 6'6", I'm long hair, I'm tattooed, a beard. Like, I don't look like your average, I don't know, fan of whatever he plays in there. But on the flip side of that coin, I do love rum. And the whole tiki vibe kind of thing. So, like, he was really shocked that a person such as me would go in a venue such as that. That's the whole, people are a lot more open-minded than you think.
I love a good tiki bar.
Yeah,
I love there's Zombie Shack on the Oxford Road, which they do a thing called it's called the treasure chest. We call it the game changer, because you'll go there at the end of the night and you go game changer, and they'll go, what? Treasure chest. And it's basically a treasure chest filled with rum and fruit juice. And because it's fruit juice, you're thinking, I can drink as much as this as I want. And then it's game over. That's it. Game over. The night ends because you just can't fucking remember anything. So we call it the game changer.
I see. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. I've known Greg since he was 14 years old.
Right.
He used to hang out with me and the guys from... do you remember a band called Ida 5 from years and years ago at all?
I do not.
No. Well, I used to be hanging out with them, and I've known him since he was about 14 years old. So, yeah, long time. Long history with that guy.
They seem like a cool guy. He sold me... so I've got some like DJ software, whatever, and like a Newmark Mix Pro 3 thing that I'm going to have to pick up tomorrow morning and then take home and try and figure out how the fuck it works. However, made it working in radio and doing like live gigs every now and then for this long, and I've never owned any DJ gear. Never learned how to use it properly either. Okay. So let's try and figure this one out, shall we?
Amazing. Another random point, and then we'll move on to the sort of the more geeky stuff. One of the best moments of my life, and this is really sad, was when I was able to come to Rock Radio and do one of those playlists that you did, and I met Ricky Kirby. I think that's the first time I met you and Ricky Kirby, and who else did I meet? I might have met Miss Rich and Sweeney, but yeah. And it never got played, which doesn't matter. It never got played because I did put some really sort of obscure stuff on there, like there was like I can't even remember what I put on, like ISIS and things like that and stuff. Obviously not
unfortunate band name.
Yeah, unfortunate band name. Yeah, and like some really proggy stuff and things. And I was like, yeah, but it was brilliant. I remember saying to my boss, "Let me go on the radio. Let me go on the radio." And it was like I remember going down, and Ricky Kirby sat me down. He's like, "Right, okay," and he did like had Pro Tools up and stuff. And he says, "Right, you got to do the intro." I was shitting myself. I was like, "Fuck, I don't know how they do this. It seems so easy when you listen to them." And then I'm fucking up all the time. He's like, "Okay, we'll re-record it and stuff." And that was fucking amazing. Didn't get played because it was what was it, the Punter Power Hour, I think you called it.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what it was called. The Punter Power.
The Punter Power Hour, and I loved it. I loved just being there and doing it. Was amazing. I had such a good time doing that, and that was like one of my high moments in my life doing that.
But can you see why I want to do this for a living?
Yeah.
Can you see? Right?
Well, it was stream when I got it, and I was like, "Fucking hell, these guys have got it made. This is amazing. This is so good. Living the dream."
It can be. It can be a shitload of work. Like, like if you've worked the Download Festival, you've been there since Thursday. Admittedly, you stayed in a hotel. Like past few years when I've been and worked it, got to stay in a hotel. If you're trying to form coherent thoughts and do radio presenty stuff, where you actually have to, make a little bit of sense.
Sleeping in your own shit doesn't really sort of work.
Sleeping in your own shit and staying up till 5 a.m. because somebody decided to climb into a bin and set themselves on fire in the campsite. It's not really conducive to being able to do your job. So stay in a hotel and that. But when you've been there non-stop since Thursday, so you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday there, then you've got to drive back to wherever you've got to get to, and then you've got to be at the awards show, and then you've got to be on top of your game again at an award show on the Monday night. Yes, it's an amazing job. I'm privileged to be able to do it, or to be able to have done it, if that makes sense. But it can be a shitload of work.
How did you get into it? How did it all become? Fuck it. We were going to talk about other things. How did you become? Get into like being in rock radio? How did you just rock up and go, hey, I want to be in radio? Take me on.
Complete accident.
Go on. Tell us.
I grew up playing in bands.
Right.
I did my degree in music technology. I wanted to be a rock and roll guitar player. That was it.
You played at Mockfest once, I think.
Yeah. You played with Dirty Habit.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
So I wanted to be a rock and roll guitar player. That was it. But then I finished uni and I had a degree in music technology and tried to work on the band. It didn't really seem to be going anywhere. And then I hit that kind of critical moment that most young musicians will hit when they have to finally face the fact that, you know what, maybe billion-selling international rock stardom and Learjets aren't going to happen after all. Shit.
It's not true, Dewsbury. My band's been going for 17 years, and we're going to make it, man. We're gonna make it.
Never give up on that dream. But it might be beneficial if you consider other options as well as. Yeah.
That's what insurance is for. That's that's my side gig, because the rock and roll thing's going to happen big time.
Cool. Well, never give up on your dream. But just because you've got a dream doesn't mean that you can't work on something else at the same time. And so I finished uni and I was like, I had no idea what the fuck to do. Not a clue. So I got very heavily into doing really unhealthy things that I shouldn't do, and I should have known better. And I vegged for a few years. I worked in call centres, I drove vans, I had shit jobs, and I was a mess until a couple of years later. I thought, right, I've got to do something. What can I do? Let's try get into radio production. Let's try doing that. It's production. I can dick about with audio. I can do that. From that, I just got little bits of work experience, making adverts at some radio stations. Through that, I met a lady called Verity at Radio Air in Leeds. She then left Radio Air to come and start a rock station in Manchester back in May 2008. Then, the end of 2008, when they needed somebody to help cover, she just dropped me a line, said, we got 2 weeks' work. Do you want to come do it? And on the basis of that, I quit my job in Leeds so that I could come and do this radio gig for 2 weeks.
Wow.
As it happened, the guy whose job I was covering handed his notice in while I was covering. So I was stuck there for months.
Was this at the start of rock radio, or did rock radio come afterwards?
Rock radio started in May 2008. I started there in December 2008.
All right, okay.
And the guy who I was covering just quit while I was there. So I'm like, oh, great. So I've now got a job. And through there, I was producer, then kind of talkative producer, then became Mike Sweeney's sidekick.
Because you used to be on the afternoons, didn't you? And then you moved to the mornings, because it used to be Rach and
Steve Berry on
Steve
the
Berry. That was
he's on XS Manchester now.
Is he all right?
He does the breakfast show.
I'm afraid I stopped listening to it when you guys left. I just know, to be honest, for me, I enjoyed listening to it for the banter, especially with you and Sweeney. The music I could take or leave it. It was literally, I loved the banter. I thought it was hilarious. You know, that was it. You know, the sort of click you guys had was amazing. You know, and I enjoyed it. That was my sort of like my mornings, or when you were on in the afternoons. That was my afternoon and stuff. And it was just, you know, and whenever you all left, I was just like, I can't be arsed with this anymore.
That was part of the fun, though, which a lot of, as we were saying earlier, you know, like a lot of the powers that be, they see this and they're like, but they're not doing quick 1 minute links to talk about the music and then say what's coming up next, and they're not doing that. If you can actually have some fun and involve the audience a bit and talk about stuff that's relevant or irrelevant, but just have a bit of banter, not like hashtag top bants, but hashtag lad,
hashtag Bishop of Banterbury.
Yes, I'm just gonna go there. What's the other one? Bantosaurus Rex. Let's move on from that one. But, yeah, just having a good crack. That's what I think it should be about.
But it's true because, like, you know, I you know, when it come up to Christmas and stuff, and then you and Sweeney, you'd have your whiskey, you know, you'd have your whiskey and stuff, yeah, and things like that. You know, for me, I like the fact there was a bit of music now, but for me, I could have listened to these all day. You know, I liked the whole banter. You know, I listen to, now this is showing my age, I listen to Radio 4 now because I'm a sophisticated gentleman who listens to Radio 4, likes news and things like that, because there isn't any good rock stations for me to listen to anymore, really, so I don't bother. So, you know, when you guys, when Rock Radio went, I stopped listening, started listening to Team Rock on DAB. When DAB went, I was like, what maybe start listening to sort of Planet Rock, but then I wasn't really keen on sort of the music because it was just, again, it was the same stuff over and over again, and it's just like, fuck it. I like people talking. I like hearing people talk about things, and it's not the same. It's completely different, sort of, you know, it's one spectrum to the other, but banter or a conversation, there's a lot to be said about it. I like when people talk to each other. You know, I can listen to podcasts and things where you're bantering to people, just listening to their views, their sort of their stories. You know, what happened last night. You know, I love it.
Yeah, I agree. And while not wanting to live in the past and go, oh well, that was great, so let's redo that. No, that was great. Let's take that and let's move it on and make something that takes the great elements of that and does something different and does it better, and hopefully people love it just as much, if not more, than shit that's come before. You know, that's what we want to do. Just have fun and avoid getting a proper job.
I wish I could avoid getting a proper job. That being said, I did quit my job on Friday, so I am avoiding having a job. It's not that I've just bought a hugely expensive computer and my housemate might be leaving and I've quit my job.
I gotta say, man, the Geek Cave here is looking pretty damn snazzy with these massive screens and stuff. I bet that big screen up there is phenomenal for gaming on.
Yeah, well, that's it. I've got to. The thing is, I've only just set it up, so I haven't even done very much here. To be honest, other than sort of putting on some programs from last night, you know, this is the first time I've probably used it properly with you.
Okay, right. I'm going to ask you something now, and I want you to be really, really honest with me here. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, if you should check out Geek Pride on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, because I'm pretty certain that Matt will have, you know, put up pictures of his new setup because he's very proud of it. Got his 3 computer monitors set up on this lovely IKEA desk with a massive flat screen above it that looks really cool. It's all in HD. It looks very cool. The $64,000 question: have you watched porn on it yet?
No, but I plan to. No, that being said,
you could have 4 different types going on there. You're like, oh my god.
That being said, right, my girlfriend at this moment in time, doesn't like me watching porn, and she doesn't. Well, like, she's going to listen to this, you know. But we've had this discussion because I'm one of these types who I'm very straight down the line. I say how it is, and I tell her how I'm a massive nerd. I will be in here. I will be doing this, and I am a man, and I will watch porn. And she's like, well, why do you need to watch porn? You know, you've got me. I said, yeah, but it's not the same. I'm a man. I'm an animal. You know, you have your fucking. Would you rather that I was sort of, you know, out with my sort of, you know, my baby batter, as it's in like what is it in something about Mary, where he's talking about the baby batter. Make sure you haven't got the baby batter on the brain and stuff like that. So if you watch porn, get that out of your system, so you're out and about. You're normal. All your animalistic urges are gone, you know. So that for me is what porn's for. It's to get rid of, you know, your sort of whatever that word is, primordial sort of primordial primordial urges, and get them out of the way. And
all I'm hearing is justification here. Like, yes, darling, this is why I wank, darling. This is why I wank. This
I'm just a wanker.
Is now just for you trying to mitigate your own filthy actions to your girlfriend when she listens to this, right?
Yeah, totally. That's what it's going to be about. But yeah, she's not impressed.
Okay, then. Second major question there. If you have got porn on here, could you give me 5 minutes? Could I bet this setup would be really good?
Thing is, man, like I used to have like a full back in the day, right? So when I was younger, I used to have a box of porn. Me and my brother had it was like It was like a little box of porn. Like we found a Playboy once when we were kids. And we're like, oh my god, we stuck that in the box. We had the Sunday Sport and all that really shit stuff. They're like when you're a teenage boy, you're like, oh, it's the fucking best thing ever. Tits, wow, brill.
I'm 35 and I still think that way. By the way. Just putting that out there.
And then obviously we got into when computers came out and stuff, the internet came out. Oh my god, we can watch porn. My first ever computer-based porn, it's not even pornographic, but boob experience, and I can't even believe we're talking about this in the podcast, but there you go. Danny Minogue calendar.
Yes.
That I downloaded, and it took me about a week. Because it was I don't know.
Fucking dial-up.
Yeah, with dial-up.
Come, get off the phone! Get off the phone!
I actually remember my dad walking in while it was going doot, doot, doot. And I was going, what are you doing? Just on the internet? All right. And just walked out. Because it was taking so long for it to sort of thing. And we had a disc, a floppy disc, and that went in the box. And I remember my mum was cleaning out our rooms. And I was like, shit! My porn stash, so I stuck it in my brother's room, and she found it in there, and he got in shitloads of trouble, and I didn't say anything.
Fantastic.
No, he did it as well, and obviously my dad sort of, on the computer before you knew to clear your history. By the way, isn't it? It's a standard rule that if a bro, is killed in battle, or if he's down, the first thing you do is clear the internet history.
Yes.
Yes.
I completely agree.
Yes, it's like I said to all my mates, if I'm to die suddenly, what's the first thing you're going to do? Clear your internet history, man. Thank you.
The whole internet porn thing it's really cool because it means, if you fancy a quick 5-minute hand shandy, then you can do very easily.
I love where this conversation has just gone completely west.
You did not expect this, did you? But right, so the internet has enabled people to pleasure themselves whenever and wherever they see fit to whatever kind of depraved act they can find on the internet. But it's kind of taken away from the innocence of what was then, I think, 10, 11-year-old Russ, little Dewsbury, who found a porn mag down in a hedge, down a little alley or a little ginnel somewhere. Finding porn in hedges used to be a rite of passage. I find that a dog-eared, suspiciously moist copy of the Sunday Sport. It was a rite of passage. And kids nowadays just don't... They won't have that because nobody's buying porn from shops anymore.
Yeah, they've got their red tubes and your whatevers, and it's just like...
I love how you're not naming all the rest of them there.
Pornhub and
RedTube and Pornhub and X videos and X Hamster and
I'm only human, and I'm very much of the case that and I admit this, I'm an atheist. I'm very much the case that I'm an animal, and the way I see it is you have urges, and obviously you can't act on everything. You've got to restrain yourself, but sometimes you've got to have a medium to help you. And that's what pornography's for. And this is the most random thing that has been on our podcast ever.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're talking about Star Wars now.
Has right, okay.
Or at least something, it's called Geek Pride, not Wank Pride. So
yes.
I figure we should talk about something geeky.
Yes, and it has been an hour. So, all right. I'm going to ask you this question.
All right.
And I'm very. It's with trepidation that I ask you this question because it's going to mean a lot to me. So I'm not sure if I'm going to eject you from my room or not. So I need you to. You've seen Rogue One.
Once. Just the once, yes.
Right, okay. What I want you to list, there's currently 8 Star Wars films in order of preference.
Ooh, in order of how much I like them?
Yes.
Ooh, shit. Alright, so we're going to start off with 4. Have to start off with 4.
New Hope.
Yep. It would be New Hope. Then, can I have joints?
Yeah, go on then. I'll give you joints.
Okay, it would be New Hope, then Joint, Rogue One, Force Awakens, Empire, and Jedi.
Ah, no, that's so lame.
Then the others.
Ah,
Then the others I don't care.
really? So you got no preference in sort of the other one? Like everybody, right? You're the first person I've met who said New Hope is the first one as their main one.
Really?
Yeah. It's always Empire. Empire or Jedi are always sort of kind of thing. Now, this is my thing because I've got a new one to throw in there because I think Rogue One's the best Star Wars film. You know,
controversial.
Yeah, like literally, I buzzed off that film so much, and I have been in so many debates on podcasts. We've had 3 podcasts where there's been sort of debate on it. I'm currently writing. I've got a 5-page diatribe on why Rogue One is the best Star Wars film. It says it's Star Wars. Rogue One better than Empire, and it's not degrading Empire, which is an amazing film. I love it. You know, I've got the model, the diorama up there and stuff. One of my favorite Star Wars films.
That Hoth diorama that you have up there, by the way, is probably the coolest thing in this room, including you and I. It's fucking amazing.
It is, and signed by the guy who did the special effects, which the name on top of my head I cannot remember, but he's
Well done, sir. That is awesome.
But yeah, like Hoth was my... Yeah, it's not Hoth. Yeah, Hoth. The Hoth battle, you know, Empire is one of my favourite. It was always number 1 for me. But Rogue One was just a complete... It came out of nowhere. It was something that I wasn't expecting. It literally was filler for me. I thought, Force Awakens came out. They're going to have this sort of random film in the middle, and then number 8 will come out, and I'll wait for that. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this film came out of nowhere, and it was dark, and it was grey, and I say grey because the rebellion aren't shown as this white as white sort of good guys. They had this sort of dark edge to them, which I loved. I love the fact that they've done things they shouldn't have done, and that, you know, Cassian is basically saying that he he does that speech, you know, we've killed, we've murdered, we've done things we're not proud of, and, you know, this we've got to do things like this to sort of justify, you know, what we're doing here. And I love that. I thought that was amazing, and that made it for me.
You're right. It's like despite the fact that they feature dismemberment and death aplenty, there is a kind of family feel to a lot of the other Star Wars films, a lot of the saga films.
Yeah.
Whereas Rogue One, as you say, right, and I've seen it written about it, it's like a war film.
It is.
It's a war film based in the Star Wars universe, but it's just so well done. The fact that it's so much darker and it's grittier, and it's just got... It feels real, despite the fact that we know it. Okay, sorry, Star Wars fans. It's a film. It's taken me many years to realise it's not actually real. But you feel like it is. And so we can be forgiven for investing time and our hearts in these characters and being gutted when, spoiler alert, the entire shit blows up. You know, we can be forgiven for having our hearts wrenched out when things go south, because it's so fucking well done.
Yeah. It's like I said, there's a lot of people, especially in Geek Pride, they don't agree with me, and I'm currently, like I said, at some point in time I will have an article on it, and it's very long at this minute. I'm trying to sort of justify it, and my reason behind why a lot of people pick Empire and some of the older Star Wars films over Rogue One is because they grew up on it. They grew up on these things, and they don't want to see their childhood sort of surpassed. Basically, that to them, you know, for me, the Hoth battle was the sort of the defining moment for Star Wars for me. You know, that's the thing I always remember when as being a kid and watching. And you know, when something comes along, you don't want it to be better because that means that, you know, something in your childhood has been beaten. And I think a lot of people see that and it's like, oh, I don't want to have anything better than that. And they kind of go on about the acting in Rogue One, and they go on about the CGI and things. And I think, well, you think about the acting in some of the Star Wars films, not the best. Think about it really. Some of the effects were a bit lame, but you don't care because you're a kid and you don't give a shit, and you don't give a shit now because it's something you loved when you grew up, but because you're an old curmudgeon now and you're a bit jaded about life, everything's got to have and it's like you get people like, well, I didn't like the fact that Grand Moff Tarkin was a bit CGI. It's like, that was fucking amazing. When Grand Moff Tarkin was there, I was like, holy fucking shit! Yeah. He's there! And I don't give a fuck that it's a bit CGI. It was fucking amazing. And when they threw in like Gold Leader and Red Leader and stuff, I was like, I am jizzing in my pants right now. Me and my mate Russell were just going like, this is happening to us right now. This is fucking amazing. Oh, it was so good. I clapped afterwards.
Yeah, man.
I was so impressed.
Did you see the announcement the other day about switching media now? The announcement about Battlefront 2.
No.
Star Wars Battlefront, the video game?
Yes. So
apparently in the next one that I think is due out sometime towards the end of 2017, there will be a single player campaign. Thank fuck for that.
They need to improve a lot in that game. I was slightly disappointed with it.
So was I.
Yeah, I wanted it to be Battlefield but in Star Wars, but it wasn't. It was kind of like that, and they took a lot of the sort of ancillary things you get in the Battlefield games and took them away, and I was gutted. I think they kind of went, we have this sort of platform, it's got Star Wars, people to buy it, and it was annoying.
It was like they did 3/4 of a killer game and then plugged the rest of the hole with Star Wars.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was an actual finished thing.
No.
Don't get me wrong, if you've never played the Star Wars Battlefront game, as a vehicle, as a tool for transporting you into this kind of Star Wars realm and feel like you're actually kind of part of it, it's alright for shits and giggles, especially now the game's come down in price a bit. But if you got it when it first came out and you paid fucking 50, 60 quid for it.
Like me.
Yes. Especially when you've got to pay another 15 quid or whatever to get the new map packs and all the DLC. It's like...
But we talked about this before in some other podcasts. It's like gaming companies these days don't seem to feel like they need to finish games. They basically know that they can leave a half-finished game and then just flog DLC, and people will buy it. And I'm a fool for it. You know what? I go on the Xbox Live, and I go, I've got that game, and it's half-finished. Oh, there's shitloads of DLC for it now. Buy. And then it's just...
So you end up with, effectively, a full game worth of... I hate this word, but a full game worth of content.
Yeah.
But you've paid... double the price of a game for what is effectively one full fucking game.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's annoying. It's
it
very
really
annoying.
Fucking is, isn't it? Finish your fucking games! Finish them! Then release the fucking things!
Yeah, man, exactly.
Don't just release half a game and go, oh, well, these fucking idiots will pay for all this extra stuff. No, finish your games. Finish making them, make them good, make them killer, then make the additional DLC even better.
Yeah, exactly. I just think there's not a lot of love, I don't think, really goes into games. My sort of pet peeve in games in general is this obsession with graphics. And cool graphics is great. I've got a new setup, and I can have ultra graphics on everything, and they look really nice. But I'm happy to play a game with less, sort of inferior graphics, but with a massive place I can explore, or lots of units and things like that. And I would prefer better AI, better content, more to do than something that looks really pretty and you're restricted in what you can do.
When I was moving house recently, I found my old PS2. I plugged it in, and I had a wonderful couple of hours sat there playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh, man, yes.
It was amazing. By today's standards, the graphics weren't that up to much, but just the premise of the game and the whole setup, it's just cool.
But there's a game that was on the PlayStation 2 now. I've seen the light. I'm an Xbox guy now. I'm all about Halo and stuff, as you can probably see from my
I can, yes.
I mean, I'm all about Halo now, but
and Lord of the Rings, apparently.
Yeah, a bit of an obsession. I've got the sword upstairs as well. I've got a signed Boromir photograph from Sean Bean as well, in a frame.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to meet Sean Bean.
Me too. Oh, man, he's like our generation sort of John Wayne in a way. Sort of like he's like a man's man. Everybody fucking loves him. It's just like
There's that wonderful story about he was in a bar fight and somebody attacked him with a knife. He managed to knock the guy out, and then he just sat back down at the pint. sat back down at the bar and finished his pint while he waited for the ambulance to show up. Like, manly man.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Did you ever see that thing? I can't remember what channel it was on, but he dressed up as he played a transsexual in it.
Yes,
and it was just like, wow, that is really weird. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
He's
not
a shit actor anyway. He's just really good. Is Sean Bean.
That whole thing was brilliant. It was the guy who he played Campo in This Is England, and he was Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire. Name completely.
He was in Snatch as well, wasn't he?
Yes!
He played Tommy.
Yeah, exactly. He was in it as well, and he played basically the boyfriend. And it was such a good story. The whole thing, Sean Bean's character was an English teacher, and that was his persona when he was in the evening and stuff, and that was the boyfriend. But he was one of these guys who couldn't accept that he was gay or that he, that he might be gay and things. Brilliant story, so good. Really, really enjoyed it. And it's like I thought I wasn't going to like it because I'm used to Sean Bean, killing the French as Sharp, or or killing loads of orcs and dying gloriously. I'm not used to sort of him in drag.
Sean Bean in a dress.
Yeah, which is perfectly fine. I have no issue with that sort of thing. But it was just like I'm not used to that. But yeah, it was really good. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to finish off soon, but another thing, you're a massive Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have, potentially, Winds of Winter coming out this year.
I will believe that when I read it. I'm going to say when I see it. No, change media again. No, when I read it, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's, let's just say, Dance of Dragons came out in 2010? 2011, I think. So, and he usually takes about 6 years to do his books and stuff, which is just horrible if you think about it, because his last book's going to be fucking ages away. And what do you think about the series surpassing the books as in by going past them?
Well, we've seen how much the series has deviated from the books already, and no matter what they do with the series, I reckon it's going to look killer. We can't say what they're going to do, but going on past form, they're pretty good and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I trust them to make what few episodes remain. I think there's only like 12 or 13 episodes left over 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think they may be extending the last season. They were going to say it was just going to be 6 episodes or something. I think it was going to be, and they were going to have 6 episodes, but I think they decided they may slightly extend it, but that is going to be it.
I trust them to make Game of Thrones, the TV show, something epic. It might not be completely true to the books when the books finally appear, but then, great, that's another story to enjoy where you might not actually know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I have to admit that when I got over it, like, I'd read all the books, so I knew exactly what was going to happen the whole way through it. And it in a way, I kind of liked it because I was one of those guys who gloated whenever, people...
Me too.
Whenever you knew people were going to die, and your mates were like, oh, I'm totally, like, I really love Robb Stark, he's amazing, and you're like, he's going to die, and you don't know it, and you're going to be gutted when he dies.
He's a gentle baby, he's going to die!
I mean, I just remember being sitting at work. Anthony Fairhurst Gearston, we call him Fez Rodder. I think you may know him.
Yeah.
He used to work with me, and he hadn't read the book, so he was just watching the series. And he used to sit beside me in work, and we'd be all sitting there, and he'd be like, "Yeah, man, mate, I love that Robb Stark," and I was like, "He's gonna die, dude." And then he was and when he found out, he was like, "Fuck!" He was so upset, and then he said, "Oh, that's right, Jon Snow's still around," and I was like, "Oh no!" This was before, obviously, the new stuff, and in the books, he gets his neck cut and things like that, and you're just like, he's definitely gonna have to come back. He's got to come back.
Yeah, it was so long ago that I read the books. If I remember correctly, the books have just finished and Jon Snow is dead.
Yes, the books basically, he has his neck cut. No, the books finishes on the death of Tywin's brother, Kevin Lannister.
It's serious. In this medieval-esque kind of fantastical landscape, you've got Kevin Lannister.
I think it's Kevin. I could be completely wrong, and I'm no doubt will get grief for it, but I think it's something along those lines. But basically,
the next Lannister to show up, it's Alan Lannister.
Steve.
We've got Steve of House Chegwin. Or whatever, I don't know. Keith of House Chegwin. Hey! Got me fucking sword! Fuck off, Keith.
But yeah, he gets Jon Snow gets his neck cut, and then obviously he falls down and he says ghost. So I was like, oh my god, the fuck have they done? You know, oh my god, the fuck. And I was already traumatized by all the other fucking people they killed the whole way through. I was really struggling to get past that point. They got to the point, actually, when Jon Snow, I thought they killed off, I put the book down and I refused to read the last couple of chapters for like about a month. I had to give myself some time just in case somebody else was popped off. And then obviously at the end, Varys kills I think it's Steve Lannister, kills Steve, kills him. And then obviously because there's the new I think which ones are they? The Blackfish, is it? Or
yes, I think.
No. The Blackfish is I lied. Blackfish is from. He's from the Riverlands. I'm talking. What's his name? Little Griff. Little Griff and his army come across the water, and they land. And then that's Varys it's been so many years since I've read it, but Varys basically kills off him and says, I'm on his side. Now that's changed in the series. That's different because Varys is on Daenerys' side, isn't she?
I'd forgotten there was a character called Little Griff.
Yeah, Little Griff.
There should be Little Griff and there should be Big Griff.
Yeah.
Then they should meet up with Smokey the Wagon Master and send him on a quest to go pick up a load of mead over in the next county, so that he has to then get back really quickly and. Do Smokey and the Bandit kind of Game of Thrones stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, but
cut that bit out.
Cut all of it out. Yeah, there's going to be some serious editing going on here. With an hour and a half, it's going to be cut down to 45 minutes. No, I think we're just going to leave it as is. Compass, right? I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Yep, it's completely gone.
Well, how about... Well, it's been lovely to chat with you there. And now that you've got all your lovely computers set up, and as we were talking about earlier, I'm going to nip off and go meet a mate at the pub, and I'll leave you to your Hand of the King.
Brilliant. All right. Well, Dewsbury, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me. And you have now got the pleasure of... naming the podcast. Now, we usually do a hashtag. Now, we don't do a number now. We do a hashtag. So it can be anything you want. Hashtag something. And that's the podcast name.
Ooh, I see. Right. Putting me on the spot here, man. Hashtag. How about hashtag?
Hashtag.
Yeah, so just like hashtag HASHTH.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
That's the hashtag. I'm doing the hashtag symbol, everybody.
He is and all. I thought that was like sign language or something. Is that sign language for get out of my man cave?
Hashtag get out of my man cave. Hashtag
that could be it. Hashtag get out of my man cave.
Brilliant. Cheers, Dewsbury.
Thanks for inviting me, dude. This has been nice. Can we do this again some point?
Yes, we can indeed. More than welcome. Yes, I would love to have you back on again. It's been great. I could have talked to you for ages. Brilliant.
And in fact, we did.
Yes, we did. Our podcasts are generally an hour long. It's an hour and a half.
This does not surprise me.
Well, thanks, dude. Much appreciated. And good luck with Primordial. Before you go, any sort of websites, Facebooks, Twitters, and things that people should go to?
Oh, yeah. Primordial Radio. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, at Primordial Radio, where appropriate. Also the website, primordialradio.com. That is where all the podcasts, and we're going to be putting more stuff up on there as and when we can. Yeah, just hit it up, and if you want to get in touch for anything, just hit us up. But bear in mind that there's like 4 of us, and we haven't got a social media team.
Yeah.
It's basically me, Moose, and Pete doing the social media stuff.
And if people want to volunteer to help you out, is there an email address or anything they can contact you on?
Just message on Facebook, that'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cheers, Dewsbury. Thanks very much, and good night all.